The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, East Pierce Fire and Rescue Washington, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 35931. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new vehicle. Starting just under the front bumper is where you're going to find your open-ended tow hooks on the passenger and driver side frame rail. As we move up onto the face of the bumper, passenger side, you're going to find dual air horns. Directly in the center, you're going to find your electronic Siren PA speaker, unit identifier, and then also tow hooks located on each side of the frame rail on the inside. As we move to the outer edge, on the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the bumper extension, where you'll find a D handle gains access to the tubbed front hose storage location for your front bumper load. Also, just to the right in the image on the driver's side, you'll find an 1.5-inch swivel discharge. Let's move up onto the cab, where you'll find on the outer edge a turn indicator marker light, headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights, and just above that, emergency warning lights forward facing. As we move up to the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. On the outer edge is your mirror, housing a flat and convex mirror, both controlled from within inside the cab. Let's move to the brow, where you'll find 5 clearance lights. And then just above the brow on the top of the roof is where you'll find your forward-facing floodlight. As we move to the emergency warning light bar, directly in the center of the light bar is where you're going to find your Opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items that we just talked about. First, starting with the front bumper, moving up onto the top of the front bumper at the bumper extension and also the swivel discharge, and then looking at the tubbed storage location, dry deck material inside, D handle on top, and it is also notched. General view here of the side of the truck, driver's side. We'll move now to the cab area, focus in on a few items in that area. Let's first start down at the front axle. Sight gauge located in the center, steel wheels, and tires. As we move to each of the entry points, you'll find perimeter lighting located at each door. Moving to the forward bumper area, on the extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency light, and on the back of the cab, emergency warning light. Easily accessible with the gloved hand, these are your door latches. They are also keyed. Right next to it is where you'll find the grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab. As we move just above the tire area at the top of the roof line, it's where you'll find your side-facing floodlight. And as we move to the very rear of the cab, that's where you'll find your LED water tank level indicator. Let's go ahead and take a look at the wheel and axle. First, we've got Michelin tires, steel wheels, sight gauge located in the center. As we move around now to the passenger side, we'll focus in on the cab area, same configuration. Let's go ahead and move back around to the driver's space. We'll start first with the cab door and door panel. Affixed to the door panel, we're going to find all of our safety and warning placard information. As we move up, you'll find the door lock and latch. Directly above that, you'll find window control electric for all 4 cab windows, and then also a grab handle. Let's move down to the stepwell area. On the vertical wall is where you're going to find a recessed air inlet. As we move to about the floor level, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. You'll also find all of the fluid capacities for components, fluid capacity type. As we move to the floorboard, you'll find your foot pedals for air horn and also mechanical siren, brake treadle, and accelerator. Left knee of the operators, we're going to find the master battery switch, tech module, engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic ports. As we move down, we have a few switches located at the very bottom section. This is going to be ABS diagnostics, your DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit. As we move all the way to the right, you'll find the display port. Let's move upward. Just above this location is where you're going to find the pump shift. There are instructions on the placard from road to pump and also from pump to road. The yellow collar does lift upward. and will allow you to move it downward. It is the detent lock. As we move to the left, you'll find two green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump. These are the indicators for exiting the cab, indicating your pump is properly engaged. As we move to the left of the dash, you'll find the ignition and start switch. Just to the right, switch labeled EM allows you to turn on or turn off all emergency lights. Headlight switch and panel switch allow you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. Opposite side of the steering column, OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. To the left, you'll find the transmission oil, def, and water level. On the right, you'll find fuel, volts, front and rear air. In the center, you'll find the tachometer and speedometer. Directly above those and below is where you'll find diagnostic information. Let's go ahead and take a look just to the right of the dash area. General view, we'll start at the very top section here with your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see the owner's manual for more information and its operation. To the right, also windshield wiper and fluid. A few switches, engine brake on and off switch, setting switch for low, medium, and high, off-road traction, suspension dump for the rear, tire chain activation, and also mirror heat. Let's move just downward where you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror controls for the driver and passenger side. Pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. It's the yellow diamond. As we move to the right, you'll find the Allison transmission pad. There is an indicator to pump in drive and also some caution information regarding engaging the retarder. As we move up, you'll find your heat and air conditioning defrost. Moving just to the right of this location is where you're going to find your AM/FM, Bluetooth, Sirius XM, CD player, and weather band radio. Moving further to the right, a few switches, siren brake, mechanical siren, electronic siren, and air horn. As we move overhead of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard. This is indicating the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating of your vehicle. As we move to the right of that placard, you'll find a switch panel for operation of the emergency master, Opticom, which is located inside the light bar in the center, clear master, perimeter lights, load manager, Opticom momentary. When any of these switches have been activated, the green light will illuminate, indicating that it has been actively turned on. As we move to the right, you'll find the front flood, driver's side scene light, passenger side scene light, rear scene light, electronic siren, and also a siren brake for your mechanical siren. It is the one with the red around it. Further to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor. As we look to the center section is where you'll find your air conditioning unit. As we move forward of that air conditioner toward the front windshield, that's where you'll find this puck style light indicating do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment or door open. As we move directly behind the driver's seat in the upper right corner of the operator is where you're going to find your backup speaker. There is volume control on the face. Behind the seat, you'll find when plugged into shore power, this outlet is active, and then also the location for storage of your handle for your cab tilt. Let's go ahead and move to the rear section of the cab, but let's first start with all of our safety warning placards, once again affixed to the door panel. Just above that, you'll find the door lock and latch and window control. As we move inside to the cab, you'll find a compartment located directly behind the driver's seat. It does have netting, interior lighting also. Directly above this location, you'll find an additional compartment, LED lighting inside, and as we move down in between the two seats in the rear, just forward of that location is where you'll find a lift and turn latch will gain you access for your oil and transmission daily check. Against the rear wall, you'll find two seats located on the rear wall. Also, you'll find two compartments. These are accessible from exterior. You also have a seat riser located with storage from top access and also front access. Let's go ahead and move to the exterior. These are the two interior compartments that have exterior access. It's at the rear cab wall. Adjustable shelving, LED lighting. Let's go ahead and move now to the pump panel area. We'll first start at the cross lay at the very top upper left portion of the image. We do have our cross lay front number 1 and 2, and then also a dead lay. There's also a warning placard here indicating entanglement hazard.
Because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. Just to the right, you'll find backboard storage. Let's take a look at a close-up, crosslay 1 and 2, and also the dead lay. Let's move just to the right now. We'll start in the uppermost portion on the left side with the module for your water tank level indicator and foam tank level indicator. To the right, master pump intake and master pump discharge. Beneath that, you'll find the vacuum and pressure discharge ports. They're currently plugged, and these are for testing purposes. Let's move down on the pump panel, first starting on the left with your Husky Foam System 3 control module. As we move to the right, this is for your master stream device. This is the Acron electric valve system. As we move up to the very top corner, difficult to see in the image, there is an audible speaker in the upper left-hand corner. Right next to it, you'll find the FRC pressure throttle governor. And then as we move to the right, we do have some additional switches, including the indicator for OK to pump, which is a green indicator, and at the bottom, you'll find your air horn. Let's move downward on the pump panel, where you'll find a discharge located on the far left-hand side, and then you'll also find some placards. These are the instructions and also specifications for your Husky foam system. Moving further to the right, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. You'll also find when they are indicating that they are foam capable by a red label, that discharge will allow you to discharge foam. There are 2 electric valves located here, Acron style, a tank fill in the upper corner. Just beneath that, your fire pump primer with an indication note of at least 1,000 RPM for best practices, and then also your tank to pump. As we move all the way up to the very top, you're going to find the recirculating line and engine cooler. Those are both twist, not pull. Moving further down, you'll find your manual pump shift and also your pump drain. We do have a warning placard down at the very bottom section. That's going to be a placard indicating if you're climbing onto the vehicle that you should always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. Directly in the center is your large diameter pump inlet. Let's move downward, and just to the left, we'll start at the top with the auto charge. When plugged into shore power, this will become active with an indicator light, and then also right next to it is a warning placard regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Just beneath that, you'll find the auto eject, which is a 30 amp. To the right, you'll find the 2.5 inch discharges. Moving further to the right, once again, you'll find the large diameter pump inlet. As we move down to the left, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move further to the right, a warning placard regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and only after receiving proper training. Within that same area, you'll find the 2.5 inch driver's side inlet. Once again, just as a reference point, large diameter pump inlet. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find the Wattress Placard. This is indicating the type of pump that you have, and we'll come back to that in a few moments. This is your foam operation lever. Directly above that, you'll find a warning: do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also a pan door to gain access for foam operation fill. As we move back to that pan door, you'll find on the back side of it are the instructions for foam fill. Let's move underneath the diamond plate running board, where you'll find these two: foam pump intake drain and foam pump discharge drain. Moving back up into the compartment, we're now into the body section. Let's take a look in the uppermost portion. First, on the left-hand side is where you're going to find your timer. This is for your recirculation system for airflow into the compartments. As we move up above, difficult to see in this image, this is the location of your battery charger. When plugged into shore power, both of those options will operate. We also have the S1 breaker panel, which stands for shore power. Also your air compressor, which is behind this panel. There's an on-off switch, and then also a gauge for air pressure. Let's take a look at some close-ups. This will show us where the auto charger is located up in the ceiling area. To the left of that is the plug-in location for shoreline power. S1 breaker. As we move down in the compartment, you'll find two Scba storage locations, and then also an outlet when plugged into shore power that will become active also. Upper corner has an additional outlet, adjustable shelf. You also find Scba bottle storage, and also the location for your fill for DEF and ultra low sulfur. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Scba bottle storage. This is in front of the axle, retaining straps also for safety. Let's move down to the rear axle, Michelin tires. As we move back up to the rear of the axle, Scba bottle storage, and also a combination fill for the silver ultra low sulfur diesel. Moving the flap downward exposes the 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. Let's go ahead and move to the very rear compartment. We'll start at the bottom. We do have a tray located in the bottom, release mechanism on the lower right. As we move all the way to the top, you'll find an additional outlet in this compartment also. Let's go back down to the tray where you'll find the release mechanism. It's fully extended now, and that is on the right hand side. This is just above that tray. This is the next one down, is the lower portion of the tray. Release also located on the lower right. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items within this area. Let's first start on the driver's side rear, where you'll find two switches, one air dump and the other is rear scene lights. As we move upward, you'll find hose bed dividers. These are movable. As we move just beneath that, you're going to find on the left-hand side some warning placards. First, let's start with pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. As we move to the right, you'll find an entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from above, there's the possibility of entanglement. At the very top, just above the Pierce logo, is where you'll find your recessed backup camera. And then to the right, once again, while climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. As we move just to the right, the last warning in this area, we're going to find do not ride on the back of the vehicle while it's in motion. As we move downward into the lower compartment, you're going to find a pull-out tray, and at the very top section, you'll also find shoreline power outlet. Release mechanism on the tray on the lower right-hand side. As we move back down to the bottom, the tray is in the full extended position. And we'll now move around to the passenger side of the vehicle. Same configuration as the opposite side. We do have an electrical outlet on the very top section. Shoreline power provides its power. We move to the next forward compartment. You'll find a tool board. D-handle gains you access to the rear portion of that tool board. When it is open, it will lock into position. To restore, just simply lift the lock and restore. As we move in front of and rear of the axle, Scba bottle storage in addition with an oxygen bottle storage location. Retaining straps on both positions. Let's move now just in front of the axle where you'll find this placard indicating warning, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be careful where you park your vehicle. Let's go ahead and move to the next compartment forward. At the very top section, you'll find shoreline power outlet. In the lower section, you'll find adjustable trays and then also Scba storage. Let's move forward to this location mid-ship, and we'll talk a little bit about the pump and the contents within this area. We'll start at the top, pump access panel, additional compartment at the top. As we move just to the right or forward of this location, you'll find backboard storage and then also your crosslays. Let's move downward on the pump panel to the two access doors in the lower section. This gains you access to the pump panel behind it, and it's also the location for your ladder rack fill location. As we move just to the right or forward, you'll find an entanglement hazard because of the crosslays. You'll also find a discharge location, and then also we'll find the control module for your decontamination rinse system. There are instructions on the left side of the placard, control module to the right. Also just to the right is your powered equipment rack, instructions, and also danger placard. As we move further down, you'll find an additional access location. Just to the right of that location, this is your large diameter pump inlet. As we move further to the right, once again, pressure warning hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. And then just to the right is your green passenger side large diameter discharge. As we move further downward, you'll find a drain and then also the connection points for your decontamination system. Moving to the right, this is the auxiliary passenger side inlet. It is a 2.5-inch ball valve, female coupling. Further to the right is where you'll find the 2.5-inch discharge and then also your cab lift located on the far right. As we move downward, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's go back to the pump panel area and talk a little bit about some of the placards First, we'll start with your Wattress placard indicating the type of pump that you have, 1500 GPM. Also to your minimum operation maintenance schedule for the test pressures of 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left-hand side is the associated GPM. On the right side is the associated RPM at test pressure. Also, this placard does have your 5-digit job number. As we look downward in the passenger side, you'll find the cutout hose storage location, dry deck material. Let's go ahead and move now forward into the cab area. Same configuration. This is the tall compartment at the rear section, exterior access. Let's go ahead and go inside the cab now, but first let's start with the door panel, all of our safety and warning placard information. Door lock and latch, window control, and then also a grab handle just above the window area. As we move inside, same configuration as you had on the passenger side as you have on the driver's side. Overhead, you'll find push on and off red or white lens. And then also as we move to the forward section to the officer area, we'll find all of our safety and warning information placards affixed to the door panel, door lock and latch, window control, and grab handle. Let's move down to the front section where you'll find your vehicles equipped with a supplemental restraint system. Nothing should be mounted within this area. To the right on the A-pillar is where you'll find your windshield wiper fill location. As we move to the officer dash area, you'll find 12-volt access via USB style. As we move overhead, let's go over a few of the items. We'll start first on the left-hand side with a blank panel. Just to the right of that location is where you'll find your Siren Control and PA module. Moving just to the right of this location, a digital readout speedometer. And then also as we move further to the right, a switch indicating your front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, rear scene, a future switch location, and then momentary opticom switch. Once again, any of those switches activated, green light will illuminate. Just underneath is where you're going to find your FireCom wireless base station. And then as we move to the rear of the seat, you'll find your spare battery switch and then also termination points for negative and positive battery. Let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior of the vehicle with all of the compartments open. This is the driver's side. Let's go ahead and move now to the passenger side. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the rear of the truck. And let's go ahead and look once again at the front of the vehicle. And now let's look with the powered equipment rack deployed, holding the 24-foot extension and 14 roof, 10-foot attic, and pike pole tubes. Let's go ahead and move now up onto the top of the vehicle. We'll start with the hose bed cover. On the perimeter of this, you'll find the yellow diamond indicating the walking surface edge. As we move to the outer edges, you'll find the side-facing floodlights. We move now with the cover open, exposing the hose bed area and then also your hose dividers. Class A foam location for top fill and water tank fill location. Just to point out, on the foam tank, there is a placard indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Let's go ahead and take a look with now in the closed position into the dunnage area where the master stream device is located. Also, you'll find the yellow perimeter area indicating the walking area. This is your Husky 3 foam system fill location. As we move to the cab, you'll find these warning placards indicating that this is a non-walking surface and that this is slippery with no railing. I've got a short video walk around of your vehicle with the emergency warning lights on. After that, the rest of the video will play out all of the images with your cab tilted and various pictures from underneath so you can capture the bottom section of the vehicle. Congratulations, East Pierce Fire and Rescue, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35931. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.